Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. Tonight is a great night with some very, very important XRP news update. The SEC rules against retail investors. Chip, it is over. We're going to get some commentary here on the XRP news, some new XRP projects built on the XRP ledger. Deaton commenting, Warren Davidson commenting, Tom Emmer commenting, and Musk filing with the SEC to tell Twitter, well, you guys know the rest. Let's kick this thing off. Let's go.
Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Welcome to
On the Chain every time. She says it every time the same, Jeff. It's this amazing.
She doesn't change at all. Honestly, I don't know how she does it. It's like, welcome to On the Chain.
Succinct. It's
Welcome
really fantastic.
to On the Chain.
So let's get to some interesting XRP news.
Dog?
Right off there. Yeah. Took care of you there, bird dog. Everything's good, right? You think we don't listen? We think we don't watch what's going on in the comments? Oh, yeah, we do watch. We know what's going on. We watching you.
We know all.
Watching you right now, man.
Man, let's jump into the good stuff because there's a nice project
jump into this one here.
Built on the ledger.
Look at this. So this is Allbridge. We've heard about this for some time, but we're excited to announce that we have successfully integrated XRP Ledger with technical support from Ripple X dev team. This integration, as you can tell by the fire emoji, will enable us to bring many unique DeFi assets to the XRPL. Now think about that, Jeff. DeFi coming to the XRPL, and we've heard about this for some time. Find out more about our latest launch. Just look at how badass that looks, Jeff.
Dude, that looks badass. I like that. I like the whole situation over there. It even comes with its own sound effects. That's really cool.
Something like that, right?
That's
it's just really fantastic. And we got one of those actually when we went to the meetup, the Ripple meetup. We got one of these cool shirts. It's a Ripple X type of a shirt. So just dive into this a little bit.
Trying to remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I must have lost it.
I have an extra one if you want it. If you need one.
Got a cool hat.
So you got the hat. I did not get a hat. I wanted a cool hat because I wear hats all the time. Never here, but and sometimes on Saturdays. Look at this. Cross-chain bridge, Allbridge brings DeFi to the XRP ledger. This is fantastic news.
Yeah, that's big.
And I love the fact that they've successfully integrated rather than they unsuccessfully integrated, because that would be a disaster.
Today, Allbridge unsuccessfully integrated support for the XRPL. How would that sound? What kind of article would that? After trying for 2 years.
Why do you need successfully? It's like just say Allbridge has integrated support. It's like successfully. We've done it successfully. I guess they're proud of that. I don't know.
That's right.
Hey,
Crypto G's flying his own plane and listening to us while he's flying. How cool is that?
That's a little cool, man. I like that. I feel like we're flying with you. I like to see a little bit of
listening to OEC on a plane. Not sure if he's flying the plane, but
he's on the plane.
He's on the plane. I ad-libbed.
Come on, Crypto G, take a little bit of a video, and I'd love to see that later. I mean, just post it on the Twitters. Yeah, we got some stuff to unpack about Twitter as well. So Allbridge first announced the integration in January, proud to deliver on its promise by adding XRPL as the 14th chain, because that's the whole idea. Get it to bridge Allbridge to all chains.
I get it now. I was trying to figure that out.
See, Jeff? Amazing.
They bridge all. Hence the Allbridge.
Allbridge. It's processed more than 5.8 billion in transactions to date. That's the and the link to XRPL with the number of EVM and non-EVM compatible chains, including, check this out, Solana, Terra, Near Protocol, BNB Chain, Phantom, and more chains supported by Allbridge. Leveraging the XRPL native decentralized exchange will also allow for trading of stable coins and DeFi tokens directly on the. So it's so weird, Jeff. Do you find it odd? You find it odd that like the decentralized exchange has been there since pretty much day one, right? It's been there 10 years. And now it's like out of like the last year, everybody's excited about using the decentralized exchange. It's incredible.
All of a sudden it's becoming relevant. So you think about go back to the beginning of the XRPO with this notion of a DEX, and it wasn't really a thing. Now all of a sudden it's a thing. People are fired up about it, and people are saying, hey, you know what? We got to find a way to build and take advantage of the DEX that is native to the XRP ledger. Hence, you see what's going on with Allbridge. It's really cool.
That's right. And Yeah, it's pretty cool to see that. It became the first bridge to connect the XRP ledger with the expansive DeFi ecosystem. The integration with XRPL allowed us to deeply enhance our cross-chain expertise, offer a truly unique solution to the market. Our end goal is to establish interconnected cross-chain environment. And throughout Q2, Allbridge plans to bring many unique assets to the XRP ledger, starting with Solo. That's pretty cool too. Token of the Sologenic ecosystem, Ripple provided Allbridge with tech support to integrate the XRP ledger through its blockchain expertise. Allbridge is a simple, modern, reliable way to transfer assets between different networks. It's kind of like they're doing for blockchain what the XRPL does for fiat and digital currencies, and their interoperability between multiple different blockchains, which is pretty cool. And their mission
Really nice.
is to make the blockchain world borderless. Where have you heard that before? Walled gardens, borderless, tool to move free assets. I don't know how you actually do it or what that looks like, but pretty cool, man.
Oh, it's great. When we're seeing this orchestration of development and builders in the space taking advantage of the ledger, it's not just about the ERC20s. We see a lot of that. Actually, we've seen that to ad nauseum. It's all about the ERC20s and building on Ethereum, when we know that the XRP ledger is just ripe for things like this.
Absolutely.
So it's awesome to see. Obviously we got Flare, that's going to be coming out soon, July 4th, if they stick to the plan. But yeah, a lot of great things going. So let's segue into why people have come here, unless there's some other great thing going on with Ripple X that you know about.
You want to talk about you want to jump into the John Deaton tweets?
You want to do John Deaton or going to Ripple X? We can do either one. You want to leave the Ripple X for a little bit later? Let's go to John Deaton.
Let's see. Hang on a second. Let's go to
whatever you got pulled up over there.
What the hell is this?
I don't know.
I pulled something up and I don't even know what is this? Oh, I know what it is. I didn't mean to pull that up. That's funny. It's funny. It's how a bill becomes a law. I'm just a bill, and I'm sitting on Capitol Hill. Well, then that's what it is. I don't think we can play because it's copyright, but I can sing it though.
Yeah, you can sing it while it's playing.
I can sing it. So we've got two things here, two big hits right here, and one of them is from none other than. Hang on a second. Let me get. Oh, you know why? I know what happened here.
Yeah, I go straight to Deaton.
No, hang on a second. I got this. I got it. I want to pull these up in succession. I want to get them out there.
Oh, I can't even find it.
I have it. I have them all pulled up. Don't worry about it, Jeff. It's all good. So, here, let's just jump into this. Here's the John Deaton tweet. John Deaton said, because Celsius had to provide an update, and their update was based essentially this, that if you are staking and expecting yield from any token and you live in the United States, guess what? You're out of luck. You have to be an accredited investor. And this is a power play right here by the SEC, because the reason you'd have to be an accredited investor would be to buy securities. But guess what isn't a security? Digital assets. So this is their little play. It's like, oh, no, you already can't get yield on coins because they're securities. So they're making people. And John Deaton says, this angers me so much, and I'm an accredited investor. I didn't become an accredited investor until I was 42 years old. One reason I didn't become an accredited investor earlier is because I chose to serve in the United States Marine Corps for 8 years. It's a rigged system designed to hold people down. And check this out. We have none other than Warren Davidson, who chimes in with definitely one of our most broken laws, highlights one of the many fallacies of investor protection. Lots of reform needed. What's he referring to there, Jeff?
It's crazy. So, one of the things that we're seeing, and we've seen, for a long time, is that if you're an accredited investor, you have, you're privy to a lot of interesting investment vehicles that have, big upside. There's definitely some downside potentially, but big upside, not retail upside, and so if you look at like the IPO space, pre-IPO only open to accredited investors, and there's a lot of big upside when it gets listed IPO. And so there's always those that buy the bags, and then there's the ones they sell the bags to that end up becoming bag holders, and those are the IPO buyers. And so pre-IPO make their margin to the IPO buyer in retail, and then retail many times will ride up and they'll buy at the high, and then they start offloading, and then you have those that were pre-IPO start buying when the stocks come back down to earth. And so now you're starting to see the same type of chaos that's going to ensue, Chip, in this space. And now we see it with Celsius. And, so as a prime example, and so just to clarify in the Celsius, the way Alex Mashinsky phrased it, is that anybody who is currently in Celsius has holdings within their wallets on Celsius, and you're earning interest, that'll continue to earn interest regardless of your status as accredited or not. If you want to come new to the space, then you're screwed. You're basically, getting nothing. And so, I like how Warren Davidson, Chip, comes out. There's obviously a lot of broken laws. Obviously, we also know that Warren Davidson was one that was behind the Token Taxonomy Act, and that could have potentially resolved a lot of what we're seeing right now had that been passed. Hence, he's talking about the many fallacies of the investor protection, especially coming out of the SEC, lots to reform. And Chip, you hit on something really important. Now we have to make an assumption based on this and based on how Celsius is responding and how the SEC is getting crazy. You have to make the assumption that all digital assets are then securities, whereas the CFTC, believes something completely different. So in essence, there's still an unknown variable. There's still a battle here, Chip, between the CFTC jurisdiction and the SEC jurisdiction. And I think we have a lot of issues.
Oh, we definitely have a lot of issues, Jeff. I mean, and then he goes on to say that there are multiple bills ending or reforming the accredited investor rule. One passed in the House in 2018, but guess what? Never got a vote in the Senate. It actually went through the House. They passed it, and the Senate just sat on it. As for oversight, I'm confident things will change with the GOP majority overseeing the Biden administration. What he's talking about here is the massive red tsunami, which now is on its way and scheduled for November 8th of 2022, which is going to probably going to end up being, I think it's going to be a 100+ seat pickup, Jeff. 100 seats for 100 years. It's going to be incredible. And the best part about it is the other party destroyed themselves. It's always great when your enemy takes themselves out. You're like, okay, just sit back and watch, get a big bucket of popcorn and start popping popping more corn. I mean, that's just one of the greatest things ever. Look at this, Jeff. Oh,
I think this is important. Let's bring this up real quick. I should have started. Sorry, but Doc's Gambling, brings up, says he hasn't received Flare yet, but I've been on Celsius for a few years. Would I still get it staked? So the question is, on the Flare, would you still get Flare? Now, can you then stake Flare once you have it? That I don't know.
No, I don't.
You're still going to get the Flare token.
You're right.
Because now, if you look at there, you can stake Songbird over on their platform. So, and you get like a 5% on Songbird on the Celsius platform. So once Spark is released, you'll get the Spark. But the question is, it's a good question because, it's in essence, there's a holder wallet, but I think time will tell.
Right. And DeFi is coming to the XRPL. So that's other big news right there. And one of the things that, this is kind of funny. I wish we could play this, but go look up how a bill becomes a law, because this is there he is, a little bill right there, and that's what I accidentally picked up right here. So I could actually, this is something. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
I don't know how it switched to this because I was on a different video. I don't know what's going on, Jeff. Who knows? Anyway, I'll jump back over here. I wanted to pull that up because it might actually be interesting. It does talk about how a bill becomes a law, because a lot of people seem to be really confused about this on crypto Twitter.
Does it have a copyright on it? Because I thought it was made for the government. Wasn't it?
It's potentially possible, Jeff. I don't know. Let me pull this off. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can pull it here. Let me see if I can grab it again, because for some reason, I think we should be able to play this. I'm going to go ahead and play it anyway. Let's give it a shot. What the hell? Worst thing that happens, we edit it out. That's what I'm thinking, Jeff. What do you think?
Edit it out.
You with me? Why not?
Cancel it. Cancel it out.
We'll cut it out and post.
Cancel it.
Right now, there's.
Cancel it.
Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. So this guy's going to tell us how it's done, Jeff. And
I want to know how a bill becomes a law.
Let's see how you can.
Is
So
this
here
the
we go.
South Park version? What?
Where's the music?
There's no music.
I don't hear anything, Jeff. Oh,
We've already canceled it.
Crash.
Okay, I think the only
Yeah.
way we're going to possibly be able to compete with Schoolhouse Rock is to jump right into the thought bubble with our own cartoon and to stop talking about Schoolhouse Rock. So let's start at the very beginning, which in this case is a congressman or a senator introducing a bill. The real beginning is when he or she has an idea for a law, and even this might come from an interest group, the executive branch, or even the constituents. But the formal process begins with the legislator introducing the bill. After its introduction, the bill is referred to a committee. Although most bills can start in either house, except for revenue bills, which must start in the House, let's imagine that our bill starts in the Senate because it's easier. Congress has the power to make rules concerning the armed forces, so let's say this is a bill about naming helicopters. Anywho, this bill would be referred to the Senate Armed Services Committee, which would then write up the bill in formal legal language, or markup, and vote on it. If the markup wins a majority in the committee, it moves to the floor of the full Senate.
Okay, I'll be honest with you, Jeff. I'm already bored. It already seems too much like government. I'm already like, I can't take this anymore. Please stop.
Oh my God.
It's like
Way too much.
If it was the song, that would be great, but it's not even the song. It's just
not even the good one. It's some guy just talking about it, and
Right,
it's not even fun.
But he put that in
I
the
was
thumbnail.
expecting some fun stuff, and
look at this right here. So Tom Emmer
here we go.
hits it on the nail on the head. It's like the SEC's accredited investor regulations are absurd. Gatekeeping wealth creation is un-American. Americans are smart enough to make their own financial decisions, but Gary Gensler thinks he knows better. Is that spot on, Jeff? I mean, this Gary Gensler is really, really racking up a bunch of enemies real quick.
Yeah,
does anybody like this guy?
Gary's
a nut job, man. He's like,
I'll tell you what, there's so much to do with the pillars of enforcement. It's just, it's self-defeating, for the financial infrastructure of this country. Obviously we know that the economy is going backwards right now. We have skyrocketing inflation soon. Eventually it's going to lead to massive recession. There's some definite issues here unless things are turned around right away. And this guy just making every time you think that things are looking up. Hey, got the crypto space. Things are great. All right, we got you can invest, you can stake, you can earn interest, you can earn a measly, 4 or 5%, 10%. Compared to the huge, massive interest that you get from the banks at like 0.05% or 0.5%. So finally, us, average Americans out here finally get an opportunity to start, gaining a little bit of wealth. And what do? They say, you know what? We think it's a security. It hasn't been proven to be a security. There's no evidence to show that it's a security yet. Daddy G, MIT man, thinks that everything's a security, and so obviously it's creating massive issue. Tom Emmer, hero today. SEC's accredited investor regulations are absurd, 100%. And why are they gatekeeping the wealth creation in America? Because it's strictly un-American. But Chip, I'll leave at this and get your feedback on it. They did the same thing during the real estate, boom. They did everything they could to handcuff people and squeeze them, into bankruptcy.
That's a really great point, Jeff. This is a pattern. And it's like the adult in the room. Look at this. You got Matt from Moon Lambo. He says he has to explain it to him. Democrats have the House, the Senate, and the White House. They don't have the political desire to change restrictions on financial freedom. The minority party, of which Emmer is a part of, has no power to do something legislatively. At least he's spreading the word of the problem, because you get someone like, you guys are acting like Gary's the president of America. Do something already. It's like, and so you got the adult in the room. Matt from Moon Lambo shows up and it has to explain it in real easy language. Like, hey, they've got the House, the Senate, and the White House, and you got a minority party. Good luck. And then this is what happens. I don't think most people, just learned. There used to be history taught, then they turned it into social studies. And I don't know what that means, but I know what history is. They don't even teach the Constitution anymore, but people don't even know you should do something. And that's what crypto Twitter has become a lot of. Why aren't you doing something? There's a scandal going on and you ought to investigate. Okay. All right, buddy. Whatever you say. I mean, it's gotten a little bit maddening out there, Jeff.
All right, buddy.
All right, pal.
Move along.
And look at this guy. I don't know who this guy Scott Kirk is, but I love his answer right here. He says the U.S. accredited investor law discriminates and takes opportunities to gain wealth away from more than 90% of the population. The government's reckless printing and mismanagement of money has created inflation of 8.5% and rising. And this law makes sure that only the excessively wealthy can hedge against it. Jeff, what's wrong with that statement? Anything?
Man, the
Spot
idea
on.
that excessively wealthy are going to hedge while the average Americans won't be able to. This is, another, and it's interesting to see, who's in power and who advocates for the transfer of wealth. They talk a big game, talking about leveling the playing field, and then they talk about, the wealthy and how horrible they are, and they never do anything, and then at the end of the day, they squeeze the average American while they're always enriching their little elitist clique that they seem to be super wealthy, especially those that are in the houses of government. Still trying to figure that part out. How is Elizabeth Warren worth what is it now? What was it, 100+ million? What was the last? I'm trying to figure that out. I
made $400,000 a year, like with 6 college credit hours. Jeff, that's an amazing gig.
Anything, never owned anything.
Never did anything. Never contributed anything. But look at this. I love this right here. So K2 says, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So you see, Jeff,
Right.
Just when you give up on everybody, boom, K2 knocks it down. You got to love that. And honestly, yeah, that doesn't come from the U.S. This is a global thing. We hold the truths to be self-evident. All men, meaning referring to women too, are created equal. And the unalienable rights, they're unalienable. And among them are life, liberty, and the pursuit. Doesn't ensure you're going to get happiness. And this is where a lot of people misinterpret this quote. They go like, oh, I'm entitled to happiness. No, you're entitled to pursue happiness. Right there. Pursue happiness, Jeff. You're not entitled to happiness. And look at this. You know what else I haven't seen in a while, Jeff? I have never seen Connie so fired up. Look at this right here. XRP, she says, LFG. You know what that means? Come on, man. She's fired up. That's a lot of exclamation points right there. Gotta love that. And then we got some other ones. Sir John right here, which we know is trapped. I believe he's trapped in a bar. He can't leave it because they keep pouring him drinks there.
It's kind of like that movie with Tom Hanks when he was stuck in the airport. Sir John is perpetually stuck in a bar.
Right, exactly. V. Ross, he says, you guys should have an RSS feed to listen to when I can't watch live. Well, we have something, we don't have an RSS feed, but we do have a podcast, Jeff. It's probably good to remind people because sometimes we just assume that people know this. And
we do have a podcast.
We have a podcast. And the best thing I can tell you guys, if you guys go to onthechain.io, scroll down just a little bit. Yeah, scroll down a little bit over here where it says,
and there you go,
where to listen and watch on the chain. So if you click on, if you're on an iOS device, you can watch an Apple podcast. If you're on Google, you can, or on a Android, you can watch a Google. If you love Spotify and you're on Android, whatever, you can watch. And it's cool because you click one of these bad boys like that.
And boom, and you can listen.
Yeah, and you listen to them. And so we have every place listed to where you can go and you can simply follow us and subscribe to it. Pretty simple.
It's sweet.
There you go. There's Spotify. We're on Spotify. Look at this. Check it out. We're on Google Podcasts. Yeah, it looks a little different. It's the same podcast across the board. And there we go. And then we're on Apple Podcasts too. So yeah, that's the best thing I would recommend for people looking for it. But an RSS feed is text only. And so that's a little bit different.
So Matt LaRoche has a good point here. What happens if I'm accredited 1 million worth of XRP and it drops 20% because of a Bitcoin flash crash and is now worth 800,000? Does that now make me unaccredited and suddenly dumber than prior to the flash crash? Then
makes you less.
So in lies the problem. So there you go.
Well, no, it doesn't necessarily. I mean, I don't think. I don't know.
So what happens if you're going to be accredited? You have to have your $1 million net worth.
Yeah, net worth.
But they say it's an or, but I think it's an and. We have to pull up the criteria on it. You have to have earned $200,000 per year for the last 2 years, with a high probability of earning the exact same or more in the current year. So 2 years of 200,000 plus, and I think it's and. I don't think it's or. Some people say or, but I could be mistaken.
We shouldn't even be talking about it.
Find it.
Why would you have any restrictions on how you want to invest your money? And if you don't have any money to invest,
that's how insane it is.
Then why would anybody care? Yeah, the whole thing is bizarre to me.
restrictions. And so his point, if the criteria is 1 million and now your value drops, does that, so their criteria is so ass backwards. It's Tom Emmer and Warren Davidson, they said it's absurd. Absurd.
That's the best way to put it. Absurd is probably the best.
And there's another good one too, right here, because Mr. Wolf, 8.5% inflation should also kick people out of the accredited,
$50 million. No,
kicked out of their accredited investor status. How about 8.5 inflation is going to kick people out of their homes and who knows what else? Dude, it's in such chaos right now. When people have an opportunity to invest in themselves through crypto, I think the writing's on the wall. Chip, when people are so panicky and upset about what you're building, then and there's so much negativity and harsh words against it, you're on the right path. If there's zero controversy over what you're building, it might not be that important.
Well, I think we should dive into this because every once in a while we love David Schwartz and praise him a lot for his intellectual prowess, especially when it comes to anything digital, blockchain, and he is the man. But every once in a while, sometimes things just comes off a little bit different. Some guy named Mike Masnick, who is a blue check mark on Twitter, said Elon's answers to the questions about content moderation once again demonstrate someone who clearly has put no thought into this. Okay. Elon Musk probably put no thought into it. Probably the guy that built PayPal, SpaceX. What else does he have? Tesla and that satellite company that he's launching satellites all over the world. And
those satellites are pretty cool too.
Yeah, so 4 companies that are rocking, that are still around doing well. His answers are identical to the people who scream no moderation. Then you challenge them on what that means. So David Schwartz said exactly. Someone who's not put any effort into actually dealing with the problem thinks they found a simple solution that somehow eluded all the experts because they're all dishonest. Also, he has no idea what freedom of speech actually is. Now, this is funny because he makes this a lot, Jeff, throughout this whole thing.
Can you go back to the beginning though? Someone who has not put any effort into actually dealing with a problem. So
he landed a rocket, dude. They said it couldn't be done. They laughed at him 20 years ago. Elon Musk, they laughed at him. They said, you will never be able to reuse a rocket and land it back on the landing pad. They're like, are you insane? That's probably one of the biggest problems, Jeff, that I could ever imagine that anybody would solve that no one thought could be solved.
They also said he wouldn't be able to compete against the big 3 automotive and create a successful automotive company.
Right. And they also laughed at PayPal and said it was a joke and it would never make it. And people weren't interested in that kind of a payment system. Okay.
So, there's so much to it. And David Schwartz, he's obviously had an illustrious career in cryptography and, building everything that he's done in the past. We know that he was involved in the Ledger and XRP. We know that he works for Ripple. So he's done some great things on his own, but to then, lash out and undermine somebody, because you disagree with their opinion, which is Elon Musk talking about the importance and significance of freedom of speech, hence his reasoning for buying Twitter to make it a free space for all, I think is super, super meaningful. But it's ultra concerning to say, hey, why does he think that way? It's like,
I don't know, Jeff.
I don't get it, man. It's really, troubling, really, really troubling. And, if I'll show you where, this is really, this is kind of where, so if you look at how Elon Musk, Chip, phrases things, and David Schwartz is going to go against, what he said. And let me read this quick. This was a letter that he wrote to the chairman of the board at Twitter. Yeah. He said, I invested in Twitter. Oh, let me pull it up.
Toss it up.
I don't have it shared. It's not shared.
Come on, buddy.
Let me share it. It's shareable.
And then I want to get through the rest of these tweets.
Yeah, and then so I'll do this quick. But he said, I invested in Twitter as I believe in its potential to be the platform for free speech around the globe. And I believe free speech is a societal imperative for a functioning democracy. Now,
he doesn't know anything about it.
Knows nothing about it. If you put a statement like that into your filing with the SEC, and then someone's going to come out and attack you for not understanding or believing in free speech. However, since making my investment, I now realize the company, Twitter, will neither thrive nor serve this societal imperative in its current form. Twitter needs to be transformed as a public company. So he spent some time with the board, spent some time in and around Twitter since he bought it and bought 9% and says, you know what, I'm not impressed. Obviously, he knew. As a result, I'm offering to buy 100% of Twitter for $54.20 per share, a 54% premium over the day before I began investing, and a 38% premium over the day before my investment was publicly announced, which was April 1. My offer is my best and final offer, blah, blah, blah. I would need to reconsider my position. Oh, if it's not accepted, I'll reconsider as a holder. Twitter has extraordinary potential. I will unlock it. So he's going to liquidate his position overnight,
and tank it
and tank it and then buy it back.
Yeah, so, and then, right, exactly. I mean, listen, the best part about how he just trolls the hell out of it and how triggered everybody becomes. And as we look through these tweets, I love this by XRP Darren. He goes, they are dishonest. These companies have manipulated and exploited public opinion. It's the business model. Oh, sorry about that. Thank you. Yep. He says they're dishonest, right? So he's absolutely right. And David Schwartz answered him and said, well, these are the same attacks on Fox News. Now, you know that if you get an argument with David Schwartz, it's always going to be the go-to is always going to be Fox News. And I don't give a rat's ass about it because I don't watch that. I don't watch CNN. I don't watch any of these fake news channels. I don't watch any of them. And Fox News right there, I could care less. These are the same attacks on Fox News that you see coming from the left. What attacks on Fox News? There's attacks on Fox News. What does that have to do with Elon Musk and free speech? He always throws out Fox News. It
has nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with it.
You can certainly, and a lot of times he just uses words, and I have to read them 6 times. I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about, Jeff. It says, you can certainly make them if you want, but don't pretend that that has anything to do with the freedom of speech, except to argue what they're doing must always be legal.
I don't understand what he's saying there, Chip.
I don't either. I'll be honest. I don't understand what it means.
Like you said, what does that have to do with Elon Musk? That makes no sense whatsoever. You're going to come out and you're going to attack this one to prove that one, but you're going to say that one's bad. Therefore, my opinion, you think is bad. Therefore, it's good because I'm using to equate with what you're. Makes no sense.
I don't know. It's just I got caught up in the words and I'm like, I don't even know how to respond to that half the time. Well, what I did this time, I said, hey, you know what? Elon Musk is a free speech absolutist. I just love how triggered everyone's getting. This might be the greatest day ever, Jeff. The greatest day ever. I was super happy about it. And there's Elon just
Oh, he's laughing.
So I was like, okay, that's great. It might be the greatest day ever for the. I mean, seriously, this whole year, it's the greatest day.
Dude, so
look at he says.
7-Eleven says David loves speaking in code.
Good point.
So maybe if we dissect what he's saying a little bit.
I don't want to.
Maybe
look at this next thing he said.
Maybe there's some 589 in there somehow.
Look at the next thing he said. Nonsense. He's the very opposite of free speech absolutist. He wants the better treatment for political speech he favors and worse treatment for spam bots. How is that free speech absolutism anyway? I'll be honest with you, Jeff. I read this 4 or 5 times. I don't even know what he's talking about. It's like nonsense. Okay, I understand that. So Elon Musk is the opposite of free speech absolutist. Well, you're probably asking yourself why, Jeff? Well, because he wants better treatment for political speech he favors, which we don't know, and then worse treatment for spam bots. What? So
why spam bots?
How is that free speech absolutism exactly?
Well, here's the issue that I have with that as well. And this goes back to the tweet storm that he had maybe a week or so ago with the woman that wrote
Harry Potter.
The Harry Potter, I forget her name. So she's pro-life, right? She's pro-life. She's very outspoken about her position, being pro-life. So then David Schwartz comes out and attacks her vehemently and says that she should be boycotted and banned from Twitter, right? Yeah. And so I look at this and say, well, how? So she believes in not murdering the unborn, so what's wrong with that? She doesn't believe in dissecting and chopping up an unborn fetus inside of a pregnant mother's stomach. And
right,
so
her belief.
That's her belief. That's her belief. He believes that you should be able to, chop up and murder an unborn, inside of a mother and let it be her choice to do that, to murder the unborn. And so if that's what David believes, why is he then going to then want to cancel and attack her in a public space and attack her freedom to say what she wants to say? But he won't, but he's going to, and then he comes after Elon Musk that says he's the opposite because he wants better treatment for political speech he favors, but yet David Schwartz is okay being outspoken against in the same vein. It just makes no sense. I mean, it's
Jeff, quick question.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Jeff, quick question. You think David Schwartz is ever coming on the chain?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't
on
see
a
why
scale,
not.
On a scale of yes or no, Jeff. Just give me a scale of yes or no.
I'm going to put it in between the 50.
It's just yes or no, man.
It's a 50-50.
No. Okay, still out there. I would love nothing to come on. We wouldn't talk politics. We just talk all about the XRP ledger. So
I wish David Schwartz would spend more time about flipping the switch in XRP.
I could not help myself. I had to chime in again, and I said, wait. Better treatment for political speech. What political speech should be favored? Elon Musk said Twitter is the de facto town square. Are you saying it shouldn't be? And then, of course, a lot of people, hey, Chip, look up Soros's true last name. I'm guessing work at Ripple on the XRPL is basically done, which is why David is so involved in these conversations lately. And Doc's Gambling says, so moon soon? Work done. That's why
I wish he would come on. I wish Schwartz would come on. It would be so amazing to have him here, just to have a nice conversation with him. It would be really, really great.
Oh, it would be fun. And look at this.
Then we'll tell him to get to work, man. We're looking for $1.
Come on,
all we want is $1. I want $1 out of the XRP. Get to work, quit Ripple, do something to promote XRP, get out there.
You said it wasn't designed to be less expensive. Come on, get to it. Look at this. Good question, Chip, but it doesn't matter how much logic you use because at the end of the day, Orange Man bad. And look at this. So the fact that the left would have a meltdown over Elon Musk bringing back free speech to Twitter tells you everything you need to know about their agenda. And it certainly does, Christian Walker.
How long did this tweet battle go on for? Like how long was it went on for engaged in this whole thing?
I think
over a long period of time? Or was a lot of engagement? Or
I don't know how long it went on for, but I've discovered that if I'm ever talking in an argument or a disagreement with David Schwartz, all I have to do is to bring up, hey, you want to come on the chain? And you never hear, he's gone. He's like, you don't hear from him. There's no rebuttal. Choom. It was like the fastest way for David Schwartz not to respond. Look at this. Brigitte Gabriel says, to all the crybaby liberals saying they're going to leave Twitter if Elon Musk takes over. Bye.
Sophie said, Tony interviewed him. Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah, he did. That's fine. I mean, Tony's the man. What do you want to do?
Gavin saying David Schwartz used to go on Alex's stream. Never know. Send a tweet.
We did. We tried. We asked him.
Come on,
people
David.
Asked him. The XRP army got out there, and all its affiliates got out there and blasted in the hundreds of, if not thousands.
David listens, Chip. David's always tuning into On the Chain. He listens.
I wouldn't doubt it. And we love the guy, man. We like to mess with him a little bit and goof on him, but you know what? He has his position, and that's cool. I like. This is what Twitter's about. You should be able to engage in some Discord, and at the end of the day, you love the guy because of what he's created and what he's doing. He's leading, a company that's building great software. I mean, so what? We disagree on some things. Who cares?
Exactly.
But what you gonna show? I'm not gonna you should be banned for his thinking. His thinking is bad. We should ban him. I'd be like that. That's
you act like that, then you can't get a beer after.
I know you can't go hang out and come on, man. It's like you got to be able to. Look at this right here from Johnny Deaton right here. He's like, one of us wonder if the SEC's focus and attention on Elon Musk is truly about enforcing securities laws. Absolutely not. With the limited resources of the SEC, shouldn't it focus on fraud, manipulation, scams, pump and dumps? It's a broken institution.
You realize how they always ignore the pump and dumps. They're so slow to the field when there's an actual scam at play. But they're all so outspoken, right now, especially like with this whole filing from Elon Musk with the SEC. Man, it's crazy town. Who said crazy town? Crazy town.
You just said crazy town. You said crazy. You said it just like that. Well, Jeff, I don't know if you looked at the time, but my gosh, it's almost time to get out of here, guys. We usually stream. We've been streaming intermittently. Jeff and I have been super busy. Jeff and I are working on several projects. And one of them you guys know is an NFT project, which we're getting closer and closer, and we're excited about it. And look, it takes time, man. It's like it takes time to bake the cake. You got to put the ingredients in and make it work. But we're excited about that. Jeff, anything before we get out of here?
Man, you know what? As always, we got the best and the brightest in the crypto space that gather here every day. And looking forward to seeing you guys back on again. Tonight's Thursday. Hopefully we'll be back on Saturday morning doing some rant and rave.
Yeah.
We're gonna go straight to crazy town.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right? Not Funky Township, but Crazy Town. With that, get out of here.
Let's get out of here. Guys, have a great one with Chip and Jeff. Ow!
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.